הגליל, ומושמע אל ראשית הקציר. שיבולת בשדה קוראה ברוח מעומס גלים כמעט, וברך הברים כבר יפוח השמש כתר זהב, ושוב בנפרד כמה הם בשטחה על פני הגלים ופוקים כנם אל ראשית הקציר. שלחו מגע אל ראשית הקציר, אל ראשית הקציר, אל ראשית הקציר. ברכבי ברגל ויצד בסך, מי בראש יישא רגל ובתפנייה, אך לטוב במצלתיים, אך לטוב במצלתיים, בשליש בצלצל נעלנה מירושלים, שם נהור הלב. ברכבי ברגל ויצד בסך, מי בראש יישא רגל ובתופנייה, אך בטוב במצלתיים, אך בטוב במצלתיים, בשליש בצלצל נעלנה מירושלים, שם נהור הלב. שופט הארץ, שופט הארץ, שופט הארץ, שופט הארץ. קומה, 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 קומה אלוהים, קומה, 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 קומה אלוהים, קומה, 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 קומה אלוהים, קומה, 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 קומה אלוהים. שופט הארץ, שופט הארץ, שופט הארץ, שופט הארץ, שופט
Everybody, good evening. How's everyone doing? Good. Okay, good. Welcome everybody. I'm really happy to see a bunch of familiar faces and then a bunch of people I don't know, or rather just got to know a little bit. It's lovely to be here with all of you to celebrate the holiday of Shavuot, yes. So we are here in what we call the Kumah festival. You just heard the Kumah song. Kumah means rise up in Hebrew. And it's a festival that brings together three strands: faith, art, and politics. Faith, art, and politics. Sometimes we say activism instead of politics. But I think we're pretty clear on faith and art, at least. And we've been going for a couple weeks now, a few weeks, and this is our culminating event. And in a way, this event this evening is kind of the best blending of these three elements. And I warn you that there may be moments in which it may feel a little odd, because we're not necessarily so used to bringing in the faith into the art, into the politics, all these things together. Yeah, but you'll see. There's gonna be some Torah reading, right? We're here on the religious level. We're here to mark the holiday of Shavuot, which is the celebration of the Jews receiving the Torah. We received the Torah at Mount Sinai, says our story. a few thousand years ago. And we mark that by reading from the Torah the description of that very moment. What did the mountain look like, and all those kinds of crazy things, and then what did God say, and how did the people respond? Yeah. So it's a religious thing. Now, there's also an added faith-based thing going on this evening, which is the celebration of the bat mitzvah of Susan, Jessica, and Linda. Yes. And that's also a religious thing, right? What is this thing of Mount Sinai, of Shavuot? It's the moment in which we committed on our part, and God committed on God's part to a relationship. So there's something communal about it, but there's also something very personal about it. So that's a pretty personal, faith-based thing happening this evening. There's also going to be a lot of art. There's you heard our beautiful musicians, Frank Linden, Dana Hertz, and Jonathan Gutfeld. They will be continuing to accompany us through this. But then we also have these wonderful 4 dancers who are going to be presenting this evening pieces they prepared, just so I don't mess up the names. We have Fabio Tavares and Sam Young, and we have Rakia Seaborn and Hadar Ahuvia. And in a moment I'll share with you a little bit about each one of these dances, but they're primarily in charge of our art section this evening. Yeah, but the truth is that they're not only in charge of our art. They also bring a political dimension. And I want to say 2 things about this kind of political dimension that we'll be experiencing this evening. First of all, the community element that we're going to be experiencing by supporting and witnessing the bat mitzvah, the adult bat mitzvah, there's something political to that, right? We're so in our own little spaces and bubbles these days that the entire idea of community and of stepping up to witness and support people as they come to do a personal communal act, that in itself, to my mind, is political in the most important and deep and personal way. And of course we have the fact that all 3 of these women are, they're not 12 or 13, and they are not male. And that in itself, of course, let's not forget that that's relatively new. Women, and Barbara's also going to be chanting from the Torah, all these things are relatively new in our tradition, right? So there's a political dimension there. But I want to speak to the political dimension of each of these dances that we'll witness tonight. Because once I stop talking, then I'm going to try to not talk, and we're just going to try and experience what's going on. So I don't want to get in the way of people's experience. Ricky is laughing. But let me describe a little bit about these dances. Okay, so our festival this year, it focused in large part on the problem of anti-Semitism and on this hate coming our way. And every event had something to do with how do we respond to that? What do we do with that? And how do we transform that into some kind of positive action in the world? That was basically what we were working on. And tonight is our culmination of this. We called the evening Transforming Hate. And each one of these dances has something to do with that idea of transforming hate. So I'm going to go from the last all the way back to the first. Okay? The last dance, Hadar, this is Hadar Ahuvia over here. Hadar is a piece from, it's the 3rd part of a piece she's working on called Nefesh, which means soul or spirit. And Hadar speaks about this piece as having to do with reclaiming an identity that was kind of quashed. Which identity are we talking about? We're talking about the Ashkenazi Yiddish identity that many people growing up, especially in Israel, but Jews all over the world really experienced this, it was kind of stamped out of us. I'm the same way. We both grew up in Israel, Ashkenazi Jews. I don't speak a word of Yiddish, even though my dad spoke Yiddish, my mom knew Yiddish. None of this, it was all systematically kind of broken down. Why? Because there was so much shame and people did not know what to do with the experience of the Holocaust. But a big piece of it was shame. And so because of that, the entire Yiddish Ashkenazi persona was kind of pushed aside in favor of this image of an Israeli farmer soldier type. And so Hadar, she's coming to us from Boston, where she's also studying to be rabbi, and one of the things she's working on is Ashkenazi Yiddish style cantorial work. And this dance piece is you'll hear her recorded, and you'll hear her live chanting some of this Ashkenazi stuff. So that's one of the things we can do to transform these things. We can reconnect with these ancestral pieces and bring them about. So that's Hadar. The second piece is Rakia Seaborn, Rakia, over here in the pink shoes. Rakia's piece, the genesis, as I understand it, and I'm sorry I'm talking for all of you guys about your pieces, but I'm just trying to introduce. Rakia's piece, the origin of Rakia's piece is an experience her father had in 1967 in Detroit during what are known as the riots, right? Maybe euphemistically. And she's going back, and you'll hear in the recording, is that your dad in the recording? Yeah, you'll hear actually her dad's voice in the recording. And am I right that he made a painting? Yeah, he made a painting during the riots. He made a painting. And so Rakia's going and connecting with that and bringing that out to us to transform that, really to transform and work on the racial tensions, the subjugation, the oppression, and the weird relationships in general, and to bring them out and transform them into what you'll see is a pretty happy dance. So, right? I mean, I only saw a bit of it last night, but it's transformative. It's wonderful. The first dance you'll see shortly. Fabio Tavares and Samson Jung, they call it 103, and this one is very interesting on the political level and also on the faith level to me. Yeah. So, what is hate? Hate comes out of a relationship. You did something to me, and then I feel something about it and don't like it, and then that's the beginning of whatever we're calling hate, right? And it's a piece that really hones in on this notion of relationship, and as I said before, on Shavuot, this is the origin of our relationship with God, also, right? It's the beginning of our relationship, of the Jews' relationship with God, which, as we know, is a love-hate relationship. There's a lot of love there, there's a lot of hate, and there's all kinds of things in between. And there's a real question with regards to who's carrying who in this story. Who's carrying who in the story of our relationship with God? And I'll leave you with that as I invite Fabio Tavares and Samson Jung to perform 103.
Jonathan, greetings from Brazil. This is Fabio Tavares. I sent you a text message a little while ago, today, a while back. And I just wanted to connect with you, and I found you on WhatsApp, so I wanted to send you the video of our last rehearsal, which is roughly 6 minutes. And the idea is we're walking through the space and we're kind of lost and we're talking to each other. We're having this mundane conversation, whatever, give me your elbow, give me your foot, how does this feel? Oh, okay, I'm sorry, hold on, don't move. Can I shift you a little to the left? Just like conversation so that we communicate and keep each other safe. And I thought it would be great, it doesn't have to be music necessarily, it could be, whatever, some sounds, some noise, some ambient soundscape. And we would still be talking with each other, and that's sort of the conversation. Let me know how that lands on you and how that sounds. If it's easy, if it's fun, if it's interesting, I would love to have you as a collaborator for this piece. Okay, we have like zero music at the moment. So, again, sorry I took the liberty to send you the video. And I'm in São Paulo until Friday evening, and I'm in New York Saturday morning. And we can talk over WhatsApp, or we can talk on the phone or something. I think I have a rehearsal on Sunday, and then for sure Monday, Tuesday, for all week leading up to the performance on Thursday. Okay? All right. Great connecting with you. Hope all is well. Thank you. Jonathan, greetings from Brazil. This is Fabio Tavares. I sent you a text message a little while ago. Today. And I just wanted to connect with you. I found you on WhatsApp, so I wanted to send you a video of our last rehearsal. Just roughly 6 minutes. And the idea is we're walking through the space. And we're talking to each other. And we're having this mundane conversation. Can I shift you a little to the left? Just like just a conversation so that we communicate with each other safe. Soundscape. That's sort of the conversation. Let me know how that lands on you. If it's easy, if it's fun, if it's interesting. Let me know how And we're talking to each other. We're having this mundane conversation. Whatever, give me your elbow, give me your foot, how does this feel? Oh, okay, I'm sorry, hold on, don't move. Can I shift you over to the left? Just like just like conversation so that we...
And for sure, Monday, Tuesday, and all week leading up to the performance on Thursday. Okay? Alright. Great connecting with you. Hope all is well. Thank you.
What do you see? I don't see that. See if we can get through this. Are you okay?
I'm good.
Thank you very much. We're gonna move towards our Torah reading, but before, I'd like to invite the three Bnot Mitzvah to share with us a moment of why they're doing this. Why are you doing this? Yes. Linda, you want to go first? Who's going first?
When Rabbi Misha and I first talked about the possibility of my becoming bat mitzvah, I told him that the reason I wanted to do it was that I wanted to solve the mystery of why it was that I felt Jewish. This may seem like a strange question. I grew up well aware that I was 100% Jewish and none of my family members had changed their names or noses, and yet I spent the first 2 decades of my life in virtual ignorance of the history or traditions of our people, save for lighting candles on Hanukkah and telling the story of Exodus on Passover. It was in college that I first became curious as to what other Jews were doing on the High Holy Day while I was dutifully attending classes. The Lubavitchers stationed near the post office reminding Jewish students to observe Shabbat had no trouble identifying me as a Jew, but I felt like an imposter. How could I be a real Jew if I had no idea what I was supposed to do on Shabbat? Once out of college and living on my own, I decided to try to figure it out. Like a spy, I slipped into various synagogues on Friday nights, always sitting in the back, embarrassed that I had no idea what was going on during the service, but hoping to learn through osmosis. Pew by pew, I inched up as my confidence increased, until eventually I found myself married and bringing our pajama-clad children to Shabbat services. Neither my parents nor my husband fully understood why I insisted our children attend Hebrew school and become bar and bat mitzvah, but for me it was crystal clear. I never wanted them to question the authenticity of their sense of their own Jewishness, as I had, or to feel like an interloper in what should be their home. And what did I mean by home? Well, for those of you attending tonight's Torah study, spoiler alert, I selected my parasha because it reminded me of the closest thing to a religious ritual in my childhood, which was the annual viewing of The Wizard of Oz, for which the entire family would gather in front of our one TV. Most of you know, the movie ends up with Dorothy, after escaping from the clutches of the Wicked Witch of the West, realizing that all she really wants is to go home, to her place and her people. It's that sense of place and people that defines the home I wanted my children to have, and the home that I have sought through this process of becoming bat mitzvah. A home that is there for you always, unconditionally, no matter where in the world, or in Dorothy's case, out of this world, you may roam. So while I may not receive a diploma, a heart-shaped ticking clock, or a medal for courage at the end of this journey, what it has provided me with is the key to unlock the door within myself so that I now can step into this space and this community, knowing once and for all that I fully belong.
When I was 12, my father asked me if I wanted to have a bat mitzvah. I said no. That was no surprise. As an adolescent, I said no to everything. My father didn't insist. He said something like, I guess it's more important for the boys, and that was it. My father was a secular Jew, a principled atheist, and a single parent. My mother's death 2 years earlier shattered him. There was a belief at that time that children do not attend funerals. So we, my younger brothers, Will, who is here today, and our youngest brother, Peter, we did not go. We did not mourn together. We did not embrace each other. We did not weep together. And we rarely mentioned her again. And all the meaning drained out of life. Now, so many years later, I have begun studying Torah with the new Shul. I'm immersed in the stories, the conflicting interpretations, the dramas, the questions, the narratives and counter-narratives. I love the sound of Hebrew prayer, a sound I dimly remember from very early days going with my Aunt Daisy to her shul in the West Village, and which evokes for me all those members of my family, my mother Claire, my grandmother Fanny, Daisy, my Uncle Jules, and all the people I hardly knew so long ago. I also remember today my stepmother Sylvia and my father Herb, who died 4 years ago. He lived to be 102. We were only ever able to speak with our eyes. I stand here today full of all the words that were never spoken. I think I am becoming bat mitzvah today so that I can speak these words. I'm also thinking of Martin, my husband and artistic partner of 40 years, and our son Lucas. They are both in Europe right now, but they know that we are here tonight and they support me in all I do. And without their love and the love that we all share and pass around, the world would truly be be a place with no meaning. Of all the identities that I could claim, my Jewish identity has had the greatest impact, and one that I claim proudly and gratefully. Being female is why being bat mitzvah is happening now, 60 years later, rather than at the usual time, so that identity is also especially important today in that and other ways. I was born in Israel, soon after it became a modern nation, to very young parents who had just spent a large part of their childhood in the midst of the horror of the Holocaust. They both came from religiously observant, loving families. My mother in a modern Orthodox family in Berlin, Germany. My father in a large Hasidic-oriented family in Lodz, Poland. As I was growing up in the US in a traditional but non-religious way, knowing their histories, learning about the depravity which they had to endure, I struggled to make sense of it all and not to feel overwhelmed by the burden to make it all okay. Eventually, my mind seemed to center like an eye of a hurricane on the question, how is it still possible to feel love after all that? Which they clearly did. That question has guided my life. The process of becoming a bat mitzvah and many other experiences I've had being part of the new Shul has taught me how the answers to that question have always been an integral part of our faith and our history.
Thank you. Before we take the Torah out of our ark-like thing over here, I will invite you all to count the Omer with me. So on Passover, we begin this 50-day count up until Shavuot, from the moment of our freedom until the moment of our becoming who we are, and we mark it every day with the counting of the Omer. So I'll invite you to speak these words with me in Hebrew. I think most of you know the beginning. Here we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kideshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu. You can repeat this. Al Sfirat HaOmer. And then we say Hayom Tish'a v'Arba'im Yom Shehem Shiva Shavuot LaOmer. Today are 9 and 40 days, which are 7 weeks to the Omer. Amen. And now I invite you all to please rise as we take the Torah out. By the way, if you would like a kippah, there's some extra kippahs over here. And also, I'll skip that. Okay, b'kasha.
ערב של שושני, נצא אל הבוסתן, כמו בשמים ולבונה, ליגלך מפתן. ערב של שושני.
They walk around, and this is your opportunity to touch the Torah, kiss it, and pass around that love.
להגלך מפתן, לילה יורד לאט, ורוח שושן נושבה, ארעך שלח שיר בלד, זרם של אהבה. לילה יורד לאט, רוח שושן נושבה,
I'd like to invite Sasha and David who are going to be our Torah holders for today.
מושך מעלה טללים, פיחל הבוקר שושנה, אכתפנו לי. שחר ומיונה, מושך מעלה טללים, פיחל הבוקר שושנה, אכתפנו לי. יורד לאט, ברוח שושן ושמם, אבא אלחש לך שיר בלד, זרע של אהבה. לילה יורד לאט, ברוח שושן ושמם, אבא אלחש לך שיר בלד, זמר של אהבה.
Thank you. Please be seated. For our first Aliyah, I'd like to invite Linda is going to read. Linda, please come. And yes, and Jessica and Susan with your names. Ta'amudna Shprinza Shoshana ben Natan Shimon Vesora Rivka, and your name first. Shulamit, Bat, your parents' names. Herb and Claire Rishonot. The blessing before.
Baruch et Adonai havarach. Baruch Adonai havarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yes, and you are starting.
Amen. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe, hine anochi ba'elecha, be'av he'anan ba'avur, ishma ha'am bedabri imach, v'gam ba'a ya'aminu le'olam. Vayaged Moshe et divrei ha'am el Adonai. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lech el ha'am v'kidashtam hayom u'machar v'chibesu simnotam v'hayu nichonim layom hashlishi ki bayom hashlishi yered Adonai la'enei chol ha'am al har Sinai.
musicians, you want to help me here? We're going to try and bring the translation since not everybody speaks Hebrew. And Adonai said to Moses, Lo, I come into thee in the thick of a cloud, so that the people will hear when I speak with you, and also they will believe in you forever. And Moses told the words of the people to Adonai. And Adonai said to Moses, Go to the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes and be ready for the third day. Because on the third day, Adonai will come down for the eyes of all the people at Mount Sinai. And the blessing after.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam natan b'roshenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Now we get to watch Rakia's dance.
I was thinking about the sky. The colors of fire, and I wanted to do something with reds and oranges and yellows, along with blacks and grays and whites, and so I started off with that idea of the colors that I wanted to use. And then as I was putting down my design, I was thinking about the sky, because I was a kid during the riots, so I remember the fires in the sky. That's the memory I have of that time. It was like in '67, I think. I started thinking about ideas, and if I'm thinking about the riots, what was it about the riots that I could put on the canvas? And for me, I thought about the fires in the sky. I also thought about the tanks coming down the street. on people either running from the fires or starting the fires. The riots, started when the police killed some people. That's how it initially started. People still talk about 12th Street in Detroit because that's where the riot started. 12th Street is over by near Motown. The riot started in that area, and just grew from that. And parts of the city have never recovered from 67. It's still burned down. It was never replaced. So many of the stores, the businesses, and all those things never came back. And a lot of the main streets that were burned down never came back. The colors of fire, and I wanted to do something with reds and oranges and yellows, along with blacks and grays and whites. And so I started off with that idea of the colors that I wanted to use. For me, this is the way I continue to, tell my stories. And so I enjoy that. It's almost like someone who writes, and creates books and things like that. It's something you enjoy doing, and, for me, it's something I can do as I grow older. That doesn't change. I might have, arthritis and things that makes it difficult, but, in 10 years from now, I can still be doing the same thing. And there are many professions that you can do that, where you can right up until you retire or pass away, that you're still doing what you enjoy doing. So, I see this as something that I can continue to do. And, as I get older, I can still paint. And so I'm still working, but I'm doing something that's enjoyable to me. And, someday, you and Chan will have to deal with all of my paintings.
Can't forget the Motor City.
Thank you, Rakia. So, the next chapter is possibly the most experiential, and I would like to invite, first of all, everybody who was back here on the stage needs to come back. So, Sasha and David and Linda and Jess and Susan. I'd also like to invite Barbara Schildkraut, who's going to be our fourth Torah reader for this evening. Once we open the Torah, then we're going to be reading the Ten Commandments, which is, what we heard apparently at that moment in Sinai. And when we read the Ten Commandments, we stand up for those lines in the Hebrew. So once the blessing that Linda is going to chant will be chanted, Then I'm going to make a sign like that. I'm going to invite you to rise, and I'm going to invite you, if you like, to come closer up to Torah. Okay? So everybody will be invited to come here. And in general, by the way, those of you in the back, if you want to be closer, just come closer. There's spots here and there and all kinds of things like that. For the second Aliyah, I would like to invite Linda Ta'amod, Miriam, Bat, Shmuel, Vet, Patricia, Acharona.
Baruch et Adonai Hamavara. Baruch Adonai Hamirach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam, Asher Bahar Banu Mikol Ha'amim, V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Please rise and join us. We have 3 readers in a row to complete the full 10 Commandments. B'kasha.
Anochi Adonai Elohecha Asher Hotzitetika Me'eretz Mitzrayim מבית אבותים, כל יהיה לך אלוהים אחרים על פניי, לא תעשה לך פסל בכל תמונה אשר בשמיים ממעל ואשר בארץ מתחת ואשר במים מתחת לארץ, לא תשתחווה להם ולא תעבדם, כי אנוכי אדוני אלוהיך אלקנה פוקד עוון אבות על בנים, על שלשים ועל רבעים לשונאי, ועושה חסד לאלפים, לאוהבי ולשמרי מצוותיי. לא תישא את שם אדוני אלוהיך לשווא, כי לא ינקה אדוני את אשר יישא את שמו לשווא.
אמן. זכור את יום השבת לקדשו, 6 ימים תעבוד ועשית כל מלאכתך, ויום השביעי שבת לאדוני אלוהיך. לא תעשה כל מלאכה אתה ובניך וביתך, עבדך ואמתך ובהמתך וגרך אשר בשעריך, כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, את הים ואת כל אשר asher bam vayanach bayom hashvi'i. Al ken berach Adonai et yom hashabat vekadshehu. Kabed et avicha ve'et imecha leman ya'arichon yamecha al ha'adama asher Adonai Elohecha noten lach.
Lo tirtzach, lo tin'af, lo tignov, lo ta'ane vereacha ed shaker, lo tachmod beit yecha, lo tachmod eshet ve'avado ve'amato ve'shoro v'chamaro ve'chol asher lerecha ve'chol ha'am ro'im et hokolot ve'et halapidim ve'et kol hashofar ve'et hahar ashen vayar ham vayanu vayamadu merechok.
You can be seated. I'll chant the English of what all that. All of you stay close, you people. Here we go. God spoke all of these things, saying, I am Adonai your God, who brought forth out of the land of Egypt from the house of slavery. You shall have no gods instead of me. Don't make a statue or any picture of anything that is in the sky above, or in the land below, or in the water under the earth. Do not bow down to them or worship them, for I, Adonai your God, am a jealous God. Do not speak the name of Adonai your God in vain, for Adonai will not hold anyone guiltless who misuses their name. Remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. 6 days you can work, and on the 7th day, don't. You don't work, and your family don't work. Anybody who works for you, don't work. Any animals who work for you, don't let them work. Nobody works. For 6 days I made the heavens and the earth, and on the 7th day I took a Shabbat. I rested on the 7th day. And therefore Adonai blessed the 7th day and made it holy. Honor your father and your mother, so that your days on this earth will be long. Don't murder. Don't commit adultery. Don't steal. Don't give false testimony against your neighbor. Do not covet your neighbor's house or anything that belongs to your neighbor. And the people saw the sounds. They saw the sounds and the torches, and they saw the sound of the trumpet. And they saw the mountain in smoke and trembled with fear and moved away and stood at a distance. Blessing after.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
I'd like to invite the three Bnot Mitzvah to the middle here. We're going to give you a little blessing, and then we're going to say the blessing for the wine and eat and drink, and then we'll have a moment to eat and drink, after which each one of them will share a teaching that they've prepared for us, and we might get some from Lizzie Byrne de Geer, although we're not sure yet. You guys can affirm the three parts of the blessing by repeating these three words in Hebrew: Ken Yehi Ratzon. Susan, Jessica, Linda. Yevarchechem Adonai ve'yishmerchem. Ya'er Adonai panav elechem. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha. Slicha, I'm blanking on the words. Yevarchech Adonai ve'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai Yevarchechem Adonai. Ya'er Adonai panav elechem v'yichunchem. Thank you, sorry. Yisa Adonai panav elechem v'yasem lachem shalom. May the Eternal fill you with peace and goodness and wholeness and give you light that will shine outwards and inwards for all of us and for all of you. Thank you for coming in front of our community today to share this with us. Mazal Tov.
Siman Tov, Mazal Tov, Mazal Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazal Tov, Mazal Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazal Tov, Mazal Tov, Siman Tov, Yehelanu. Siman Tov, Mazal Tov, Mazal Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazal Tov, Mazal Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazal Tov, Mazal Tov, Siman Tov, Yehelanu. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, ולכל ישראל. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, ולכל ישראל. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, ולכל ישראל. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, ולכל ישראל. זמן טוב, מזל טוב, מזל טוב, סימן טוב, סימן טוב, מזל טוב, מזל טוב, סימן טוב, סימן טוב, מזל טוב, מזל טוב, סימן טוב, יהללנו. סימן טוב, מזל טוב, מזל טוב, סימן טוב, סימן טוב, מזל טוב, מזל טוב, סימן טוב, סימן טוב, מזל טוב, מזל טוב, סימן טוב, יהללנו. יהללנו, יהללנו, ולכל ישראל. יהללנו, יהללנו, ולכל ישראל. יהללנו, יהללנו, ולכל ישראל.
Judy Miner, our VOD president, is going to say the blessing for the wine, and then we can all eat and drink.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, barei peri hakafen, amen.
L'chaim, l'chaim. We're going to take a break to eat and drink and reconvene in maybe 20 minutes to do some study for whoever wants to stick around. Chag Sameach.
I'll be down. I don't know. I'm just like scared of it.